Yeah, just so that I have at least I know what they're doing. And then we change that.
Next time,
Yes, hello. Yes. Okay, you'll see me on shots in a moment. You'll see you on shots in a moment.
Note on the mics, if you talk, switch both of them on and leave them on throughout the hearing. Otherwise, you're going to have to switch on and off. So,
do we switch this off?
So again,
Switch this off or just on silent?
no, you can. I think switch it off because it might come through, feed through on the mics. Yeah. But before they come in, you can switch if you're still waiting for a call or stuff like that.
I don't even know how you switch these things off anymore. Without having told.
So I power it off.
Thank you.
I'll just help you to switch it on when there's a tea break or lunch break.
Thank you. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. Well, and you,
I'm
sir?
Jeremy Michaels.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Have you been briefed? Please make sure that both of these are on.
He told me, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's pointed towards you.
I
Thanks.
can just leave it on the whole
Jeremy,
time.
how are you?
Yes.
Where do I file those ones now?
No, I think just keep them aside for now.
Separate. Right.
And the moment we speak about
Good morning, all. We are ready to start the day's proceedings. Please make sure that your phones are off. We don't want disruptions from devices, please. Thank you.
Good morning, Mrs. Kakan.
Good morning, Chairperson and the Commissioners.
And good morning to you, to Lieutenant Colonel.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioners. May we proceed? As you correctly said, this is Colonel Jacobus Prinsloo. He'll be our witness today. Can we do the administrative parts? And then we'll deal with the logistics.
Thank you. Please state your full names for the record.
Jacobus Jeremia Petrus Prinsloo, Commissioner.
Thank you. Are you going to swear or affirm?
I'll swear yours.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. We should have a file that will be utilized today that is before you, and then there's another file for the witness. And then additionally, we've placed exhibits behind you, which will utilize, and I'll refer to them as we go. The statement appears at page 1 of your first file, or the main file. I will take the witness through his statement, but I just want to contextualize where he fits in. I think it's important that we do so. General Flynn testified yesterday about the protocols and what has to happen in drug seizures and other drug-related activities that, in terms of the law. So I will not be going or rehashing that aspect, save to correct one thing perhaps, not even a correction. There is a use of the instruction note of 2017, but it's national instruction, as it were. But there's the one of instruction 2021. It's basically an amendment of the instruction, of the national instruction, but the wording that is used is absolutely the same. So I don't think it's necessary to just do a comparison and jumping from. The wording is what is important, or the law, as it were. I hope that will not be an issue.
Was the issue, Mrs. Kakane, because General Musikidi had referred to paragraph 12.
Yes.
And we were wondering whether there was an incorrect reference, and I asked, is it not because this was amended and the paragraphs may have moved around?
Yes, that's exactly the case.
Substance of the provision is the same. It's just that it's no longer in 8, it's now in 12.
Indeed, Commissioner Kumalo. So, but the wording and, as I say, the prescripts of the law is exactly the same. We've just double-checked that this morning again. So I won't take the witness through everything that, what is supposed to be happening about preserving exhibits, sealing of the exhibits, labeling of the exhibits, save for necessary points. Colonel Prinsloo, would you turn to page 2 of your statement?
I am the Commissioner.
Yeah. Do you confirm that this is your statement or based on your instructions?
That's correct.
Could you then turn to page 27 of that same file?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Is that your signature?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. In terms of process, what we're going to do, I would like to take you through the statement. As we go through, just in the interest of time, we'll try and not interrupt you. I will try that. But however, we will have some questions here and there as we go along.
That's correct.
You'll see that there are also annexes to your statement.
Yes.
Commissioners, you have the annexes. We'll refer to them. The majority of the annexes that we will be utilizing so as to demonstrate the security features of the DPCI officers attached at the beginning, and we'll go through them and flight them accordingly. Colonel, could you then start with paragraph 1 of your statement?
I'm an adult male residing in Port Shepstone. I'm a retired member of the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation, known as the DPCI, also known as the Hawks. At the time I retired, I held the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Save where otherwise stated or where it appears from the context to the contrary, the facts contained herein are within my personal knowledge and are to the best of my knowledge and belief, both true and correct, and I do swear positively thereto. I depose the statement to assist the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into criminality, political interference, and corruption in the criminal justice system, arising from the specific allegations made public by Lieutenant General Madlanga Justice on the 6th of July 2025, the Commission. Background and appointment. I've been based at the DPCI Port Shepstone office which is situated at number 2 Princess Elizabeth Drive in Port Shepstone since 2004. This was before the establishment of the DPCI, which happened in 2009, as I will elaborate below. I must state that the DPCI Port Shepstone office is not a police station. There exists a separate Port Shepstone police station, which is approximately 5 kilometers inland from where the DPCI offices are. The office is about 110 kilometers from Isipingo. The relevance of this will be apparent later on. I started my law enforcement career in 1984. I did basic training in policing at the Pretoria West Police College for 6 months. After completing my training, I was posted at the Port Shepstone Police Station in the charge office, dealing with public complaints. In January 1986, I joined the Port Shepstone Dog Unit. It's called K9 Unit now. Thereafter, in 1998, I joined the South African Narcotics and Alcohol Bureau. It was called SANAB, S-A-N-A-B. We were based at Shelley Beach. That's about 15 kilometers other side of Port Shepstone. This SANAB was a specialized unit. However, it was later closed at the end of 2003. At the beginning of 2004, a special unit was established dealing with organized crime. It was called the Organized Crime Unit. I joined that unit, which was then located separately from the Port Shepstone Police Station. This unit focused on cash in transit, firearm-related crimes, vehicle crimes, and wildlife investigation. The unit operated at the same office as the current Port Shepstone DPCI office. The unit later became housed within the DPCI when the DPCI was established in 2009. Brigadier Newswa was then the unit commander of that unit. Accordingly, I reported to him. In terms of ranking in 2004, I was a warrant officer. In 2010, I was promoted to the rank of lieutenant. In 2012, I was promoted to captain. In 2019, I was promoted to lieutenant colonel, which rank I held until I retired. When the DPCI was established in 2009, my rank was warrant officer, and I reported to then unit commander of Port Shepstone, Brigadier Newswa. He was a lieutenant colonel at that stage. Brigadier Newswa was promoted around 2012, and shortly thereafter, he left, and he was promoted to a post in Klerksdorp in Northwest. After Brigadier Newswa had left, I reported to Brigadier Dube, who was the then provincial commander. Brigadier Dube was also later retired, and she was succeeded by Colonel W.S. Mhlongo. After some time, Brigadier Newswa returned as provincial commander. I reported to him until I retired. Before Major General Sinona joined as the provincial head, Major General Zikali was the provincial head of the DPCI in KZN. The latter took early retirement. Brigadier Mbata acted for a few months until Major General Sinona was appointed around August 2020. I might be mistaken on the date, but I think that was the date. He was appointed as the provincial head for DPCI KZN.
Can we please clarify that date? It's very important because I think the witness yesterday, when referring to the January 2021 break-ins, said General Sinona was not yet appointed. So can we just please clarify the exact date when General Sinona was appointed? Because I'm now hearing the witness here is saying he is also not sure, but it could be this date.
Commissioner, it was definitely in 2020.
Definitely 2020.
Yes.
Okay, yes, that's the date, yes, around August. Just before we proceed, just to take what Commissioner Kumalo is saying, at the time that General Sinona would have, or Major General Sinona would have taken office, would he have been briefed about the office, your office, and other operational matters?
Commissioners, I would think so. General Sinona, with his management structure, they had weekly meetings, and I am sure they would have briefed him.
And when did you first meet General Sinona, Major General Sinona, for the first time?
I think it was within the same week that he was appointed. He called all the commissioned officers to the provincial office, and he was introduced to us. Later on, he visited each unit and got to know all the members as well. But I think that was within a week that he called all of us there.
Okay, thank you. Let's proceed to the next topic of the provincial commander, so that we understand the structure between a provincial commander and provincial head.
The DPCI has different departments in each province. During my time there, it was the following departments. The biggest one was a serious corruption investigation. They were dealing with public and private sector fraud, corruption, and corruption within the justice, crime prevention, and security cluster. And there was a serious commercial crime investigation. They were dealing with banking crimes, government fraud, counterfeit goods. And then the biggest one was a serious organized crime investigation, dealing with drug trafficking, human trafficking, kidnapping, cash in transit, police murders, crimes against the state. And priority crime, specialized investigation, dealing with financial investigation, asset forfeitures, cyber-related crimes, and forensic investigations. Priority crime management center, dealing with analysis, notebook profiling, and threat assessments. And then your corporate support service, dealing with supply chain management, human resource management, and financial services. Each of these departments' components are led by a provincial commander, normally at the rank of brigadier. I was in serious organized crime investigation, which has currently 5 units in KwaZulu-Natal. Each of these units has a unit commander who reports to the provincial commander, Brigadier Nyuswa. He is the provincial commander for serious organized crime investigation. He in turn reports to the DPCI provincial head, currently being Major General Sinona. Brigadier Nyuswa is based at the provincial office in Durban. During 2021, I was the acting unit commander and reported to Brigadier Nyuswa. The command structure in the police is very strict. I am obliged to follow the instructions and commands of my commander, failing which I can face serious consequences. This is because ill discipline is regarded as a serious issue within the law enforcement service. I cannot ignore or disregard the instruction or commands. Further,
I'm certain you are referring to lawful instructions or commands.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Further, I have to respect the decision of my commander, whether I agree or not. It is not my responsibility to second game or try to change them. My role is to report to him, and one has to assume that such decisions are informed. DPCI Port Shepstone office.
Sorry, Colonel, just to deal with the previous paragraph so that we don't have to return it to it unnecessarily. I just want you to explain the consequences that you would have been exposed to, or that you would face if you were to contradict the commands or instructions of your commander? That's the first point that I'd like you to address.
As the Commissioner said, if it's a lawful command or instruction, I've got to do it. I cannot ignore it. There will be serious consequences for me.
And what are those?
Most likely, I will be charged departmentally.
Okay.
Sorry, Colonel. Surely that doesn't mean that you may not express an opinion. If you have an opinion, and maybe let's bring it home to what you're coming to testify about, that if you had 2 storage rooms, we know, and one was chosen to store the consignment, if you thought the second room, the alternative room, was the better choice, surely you could express that view. Your obligation to follow instruction cannot mean that you can't say, I think this is a better room. Finally, you must follow the instruction if your commander insists that the first room that they chose is the correct room. But am I wrong to say you can express a view?
You are correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move on, also on the same point, as a member of the service, would I be correct that you would have been bound by the national instructions and applicable prescripts?
That is correct.
Thank you. That's fine. Please proceed to Section D.
As I stated above, I've been stationed at the DPCI Port Shepstone office since 2004, before the establishment of the DPCI. I was the most senior and had been at that building since we moved into it. During 2021, I was the acting unit commander and ultimately responsible for the unit based at Port Shepstone. The office is a 2-story building with a ground floor and a first floor. The DPCI is renting the building from a Mr. Kamisa. The DPCI office is not a police station. It is for administration and operates during working hours. It operates between 07:30 in the morning and 1600 hours during weekdays. It is normally closed on weekdays and public holidays. Only DPCI members and staff are permitted in the offices, and the access is controlled. During my tenure, we had a problem. At that stage, approximately 14 members, plus 4 administrative staff that comprised 2 cleaners and 2 admin people. Both members and staff are security vetted. The office building was accessible from the street. However, access to it was through the use of a code. The code was universal and not unique. All of us had the single code, the same code. The gate was not manned. If anyone would obtain a code, they would obviously get into the office building. I must also point out that there was no system to know who had used the code for access. The code would sometimes be changed if a member retires or leaves service. In some instances, although not all, it would also be changed after a break-in or an incident. The DPCI office could be accessed from the driveway used by members to drive into the parking area at the side of the building. There are stairs which leads to the first floor. Some members, like myself, use this entrance instead of the main entrance. The office was in a business area and shared a perimeter with a hardware store, a Herald newspaper office, there was a mortuary, and the Liquor Authority, which only operates during the week. There was a serviced electric fence around the perimeter fence, save for the part which was bordering the Liquor Authority. Obviously, when there was load shedding, the electric fence would not work. The office had no generator or electric backup. There was no cameras or beams outside the office. Further, there was no alarm system monitoring movement on the outside or exterior of the building. Turning to the inside, there was a reception area which was not manned due to the limited staff that we had. At the ground floor and first floor were offices. The 2 walk-in safes, strong rooms, were on the ground floor. The safe was not accessible from the outside of the building. I attach here 2 copies of the photos of the building and surroundings. These are marked JJP 1.1 to JJP 1.18.
So, sorry, I would like us to just go through some of the photos that you annex to they're flighted, if you can have a look. Just briefly, I'd like you to take us through some of them, one being the first one, photo 1, and perhaps explain the layout.
Commissioners, that's a front view of the offices. The front entrance is to the left, in front of those 2 vehicles that are parked there. If you look to the left of that, there's the stairs going up to the first floor. I would normally use those stairs there to go to the office. My office was that one with a window open when this photo was taken. As commissioners can see, there's the street Princess Elizabeth Drive, right adjoining the building there, just behind the 2 vehicles parked there. I go to the second one. There we can see the driveway with a gate there.
And who had access to, who had the locks for that gate?
Most of our members had it's a padlock, had a copy of the key for that.
So the 18 members or the 18 staff each had a key?
Not admin, because they've got no need to go there. It's just the operational members. We
The 14 of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We make use of the garage and everything to park vehicles in.
Okay. You see there's, I think, what would call some poster or label of a security company. Affixed to it's a poster affixed to the wall.
That was still when it was National Fire and Safety, whatever it was called, that was still their sign.
Okay. Still at this page, could you then explain to us what's the grey building?
The first one, if you see right in your corner, there's an electric box there.
Yes.
That first section there, that's the Liquor Authority.
That's the Liquor Authority.
And then the one that's got another floor, similar to ours, got the first floor. In there is Vodacom is in there, as well as an attorney firm, as well as these people that install fiber.
Okay. And at the back of the office, of your office,
if you look through that
through the gate, yes.
Through the gate there, we've got a little storeroom there, and then behind that there was a mortuary.
Okay. And was this area patrolled at the time?
This whole area there had the electric fence.
No, I'm saying there were security patrols around your office.
At what time was that, sir?
Not at 24 hours.
No such thing.
All right, turn to page 3, that is photo 3.
Sorry, Commissioner, if I can just go back to that, page 2. If you look the right-hand top window, you can see there's a spotlight there. It comes on at night. Then it illuminates the whole front section there where the cars are parked. We go to photo 3. That's just that gate there.
If you look at this photo 3, just after you open the gate, there's a door to your left.
You'll see it better in photo 4. There it's clear.
Yes, indeed.
I just wanted to show on photo 3 below that air conditioning unit there, there's also a light there.
Yes.
It comes on at night, it illuminates this driveway gate.
Turn to photo 4.
Commissioners, photo 4.
Is that still part of your building?
Sorry,
Is that still part of the building, photo 4?
that's still part of the building. That first 2 wooden doors you see there, there's some roof tiles in front of them. That's just the air conditioning system that's housed in there. That's not part of the building.
Could you access the office using this?
No. It's for that unit alone. If you look at that second wooden doors there, that is where we'll come in later, through which we took the drugs in before it went into the storeroom. Then, there also you can see there's also a spotlight there. It works on a day, night. It's just above that one window there. And
So it would follow that if there's no electricity, that day-night switch won't work.
won't work.
Okay.
Then you can see the garage door there on the left. As well, there's like a carport there and a little storeroom.
Could you go to photo 8? I think we've gotten the idea. So this is the inside.
Before you discuss photo 8, the access through the stairs, the one that you say you use to go to the first floor, is that door controlled? Does it have a code, or it's just a key to go in?
It's got a key and a code for the security gate. Same as the bottom. Bottom works
Same as
exactly the
bottom.
same.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi. Then if you go to photo 8, just the first thing you see is that security gate. Would that be the one from the outside?
That is correct.
Okay, so when you walk in into the office.
That's how you enter the office, yes, sir. There's a sliding glass door there, which from the outside you cannot see through. It's tinted, but from inside you can see out.
And you told us the reception was not met.
No, because of manpower.
Okay. Go to photo 9.
Photo 9 is if you stand at that reception and you look down, you see a wooden door right in the end there. That's the office door of Warrant Officer B.J. Pinar's office. We'll deal with that one later in my statement.
Just before we go to photo 10, What was the rationale of not having the reception manned? Is it staff shortages or?
Staff shortages.
Okay, thank you. Go to photo 10.
I wonder what the correct verb these days is for manned. That don't perhaps personed. I should coin that verb myself. No, let's continue.
Thank you, Chairperson. Okay. Go to photo 10.
Photo 10 is if you get to that office of Warrant Officer BJ Pinar and you turn right, then you've got that passage. There you can see the first strong room. It's room 22 on your right. And then where the second fire extinguisher is, that is the second walk-in safe. And the security gate and wooden door in the end, that's the one I pointed out previously in the photos. That's where we entered on the night that the day that the drugs was brought to the office.
Okay, just so that we understand, as you walk in from the door, the exit door, the first door or the first safe would have been room 22.
No. This, from where I'm standing now when I took this photo,
Yes.
the first one there on my right, that's room 22.
Okay. So when you come in via the external door, the wooden door that you showed us, it would have been the second door. Room 22 would be the second door.
That's correct.
Thank you. Could you then go to page 11? Could you take us through this aerial view of the surroundings?
Commissioner, there you can also see that photo where the two vehicles were standing. That is the DPCI offices. Behind it, you can see that was where the mortuary was. On the right of us, the smaller of that red roof building, that's where the liquor authority is. The one that's also 2 floors, similar than us, that's where Vodacom and the attorney firm and the people doing the fiber, they are in that building. Next to them, that white building, there are a lot of cars there. That is the South Coast Herald newspaper. And then on the left of our office, that big building there, that's the Department of Human Settlement.
And what about the hardware store? Wasn't there mention of a hardware somewhere?
The hardware store.
Commissioner, is it possible for us to go to the other photo? I forgot.
Commissioners and Chairperson, that's Exhibit CJC 199. It should be behind you. It's an A3 page.
I raise this because I think there was a suggestion that entry into your building was probably gained through the hardware store, or at least the yard. I hope my recollection is correct.
Commissioner, that is correct. It was a hardware shop at that in 2021. Subsequent to that, the hardware shop, they moved out, and it was then taken over by the Department of Human Settlement. But there is a photo, a Google Earth photo of 2021 that shows what it looked like then.
That's CJC 199, Commissioners. You'll see it's a Google Earth photo. While it's dated 30 October, it's dated 30 October 2021. but that would have been the layout as it existed in November still.
Thank you.
Colonel, could you then take us through, just to address what the chairperson is inquiring about the layout?
There were those, Commissioner, if you can see on that photo there, you can see at then that stage it was still a hardware store. There was round concrete pipes that were stored there. It's visible on that photo. But on the recent photos, you can see where that used to be. They've now built garages there. And they've built a car wash and a little house there for the, they've got 24-hour security guards there.
Mr. Skakani, I think we are lost. What pictures are we looking at now that the colonel is describing?
Okay.
Page 11.
So if you look at page 11 is how it exists. No, don't put that away. So CJC 199 is, yes. That's what he's going through as it existed at the time of the break-in. Page 11 of the main file is how the office surroundings are currently. What we were dealing with is so that at the time when this break-in happened is to explain what was around the offices. In terms of layout, it's just the business offices that have changed. And Colonel was just taking us through the hardware part and the fact that there were concrete pipes. If you compare CJC 199 and 11 and page 11, that's where you would see the difference of the car wash and the car park.
Okay. The concrete pipes that you are referring to on page 199, is that those white things that we see there?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay.
They use those pipes when they build normally verandas and stuff like that. They fill them with concrete, those pipes. Yeah, that's what those are.
Just to...
You are referring to the box-like things
Yes.
on there. All right, thank you.
If I may just perhaps ask the commissioners to go to page 127 of the file. Just would these be the pipes that you're referring to?
Those are exactly the same pipes, Commissioner.
Please continue with CJC 199 and your description there.
That, Commissioners, that is what it looks like at that stage. According to this photo, was taken on the 30th of October 2021.
And you say currently there's 24-hour patrol currently?
They've got 24-hour security guards there.
Where, the DPCI office?
No, those Department of Human Settlement.
Okay, so the DPCI office, does it have any security?
It's got nothing.
As we speak?
It's got nothing.
To date?
To date, the alarm doesn't even work anymore.
Okay.
Maybe an earlier question then. When did you retire?
I retired at the end of May 2025, Commissioner. It's a year ago.
Okay, and you are able to say, as at today, they still don't have security in the alarm?
I was there Monday and Tuesday to get documents for this
see.
commission, and I did speak to them.
Thank you.
And if we then go back to page 11, we see, I think that's a better view of the office layout. Would the businesses that you said still exist?
All the buildings are still there. It's just the mortuary. It's not being used as a mortuary anymore. It's a different business now.
Okay. What is it?
Bread gets delivered there and then it's distributed again from there. So it's not a bakery as such. The breads are baken off-site and it's just packaged into smaller trucks and distributed from there.
That was after 2021.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Right. If we look at the layout also, what we see is, if you compare CJC 199 and page 11, we see that there's I wouldn't call it a forest per se, but a lot of trees. It may well be a forest, but there are bushes around. Are they still there?
They're still there, Commissioner.
Okay. And in terms of security, it would seem that there is no barrier from that forest to your offices.
No, there's nothing, Commissioner.
Okay. So someone can just walk across, or they can,
Correct,
they can
Commissioner.
observe you as you leave and then come in.
Correct, Commissioner.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioners. Unless there's anything, I think I don't want to belabor the point. I think I'd like us to go back to the statement. We were at we just finished at paragraph 24 of your statement. Can we then go to paragraph 25?
As the unit commander, I was ordering control of the office. However, given the tasks and my other responsibilities, I had delegated the responsibility to control of the safes to Warrant Officer A.B. van den Berg. I attach hereby a copy of the handing over certificate in this regard, JJP 2.
And what's the process with this handing over? Is it in terms of permissions? Who is involved in the process? Can you just yourself just delegate Warrant van den Berg?
Yes, I can, Commissioner. So what this would entail is this official form Z543. It's got to be completed. Where
Perhaps let's go to page 19 and you take us through that, which is the handing over certificate. That's your JJP 2. You can then take us through that form.
it's for
Firstly, the application, the form you said you would fill in first.
Z543.
This is the form.
That's correct. That's correct, Commissioner. You can see there's the strong room. It's got a serial number, C1004670. That's room 22. And then my own details, and I hand it over to Warrant Officer van den Berg. The 2 keys for the doors handed over to him. My signature appears there, and the date, the address of the office, and then the date 2019, the 12th of November. And then Warrant Officer van den Berg's details is there, that he receives it from me, he signs it, the address, it's dated again, and my signature as the unit commander is there again. And that proves that I handed everything, he checked everything that was supposed to be in that safe, that it is in that safe. And occurrence book entry is also made. The OB number is there. It's 22/11/2019.
ordinarily, who has access to this safe?
After this, only Warrant Officer van der Berg. So he's got the keys.
And officially, without him, no one should access the safe?
No.
Okay, thank you. Can we then go to...
Sorry, what exactly does that mean? Does it mean only he can go into the safe, or they must go through him? He gives the key and you could have asked for the key and went into the safe without him, or he has to be, one possibility is only he can go into the safe. So if you wanted anything, you would have to ask him. That's the one possibility. The other possibility is that you have to go through him and he has to accompany you into the safe. The third is you just take the key and you go alone. What does it mean that he's in control?
Only he accesses that safe. He's got the keys, doesn't give it to anybody else, not even me as the commander. I had to inspect the official firearms that's housed in that safe weekly. I would get hold of him. He would open up for me. Whilst he's there, I will inspect the firearms. Once I'm done, make a OB entry, sign the firearm register, and then I leave and he locks the safe. Keys are always with him. Doesn't give it to anybody else.
So no one should ever be in the safe without Van der Berg being there?
No, no, Commissioner, nobody should.
Thank you.
Now, sorry, in the light of this discussion, I know you are coming to this later with regard to General Sinona, Brigadier Nyuswa, and the rest of the team arriving to deliver the cocaine. I'm interested, there was this formality between you and Warrant Officer van den Berg, formal handing over with signatures, but the evidence in regard to the handing over of the keys seems to be that the keys were simply handed over to Brigadier Nyuswa. In the context of the prescripts and what the formality you've referred to, can you explain how that handing over took place? They are there, the drugs are put into room 22, is it? And once everything is done, the keys are simply handed over to Brigadier Nyuswa.
Thank you, Commissioner. Once I was contacted by Brigadier Nyuswa to make a safe available for them to bring it.
Yeah, don't go into much detail, just the handing over of the keys, because you are still going to discuss the rest when you come to that part of the statement.
We removed all the firearms, placed the drugs in there, and then the keys were handed to them. And we made an OB entry after they had left.
Oh, that had been done.
Yeah.
And was that proper without the signatures, as you have them, for example?
No, we did not complete this form.
Was that proper? Or did you hear my question?
I hear your question, Commissioner.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we should have completed this form. But there was nothing else in the safe. We took everything out of the safe.
There was cocaine now.
Yeah, their cocaine that they came with, Commissioner.
Please continue, Mr. Skake.
Perhaps let me just follow that up so that so that we clarify it. So when you complete this form, JJP2, you are handing over the keys. Now, this is not the only incident that you handed over the keys. That's what the chairperson is trying to get at. There's another incident, and we don't understand that to mean that this form is completed only when there's certain items, unless I misunderstood you. So it means that when you are handing over the keys, this form must be completed. Correct?
That's correct.
So what the chairperson is trying to get at is when keys were handed over, let's forget the liability or the culpability. When the keys were handed over, as we'll get to it later on, was a similar form completed?
No, similar form was not completed.
And so it would still, administratively, it would mean that the keys were not transferred from an administrative point of view.
That's correct.
Okay. So, and just to follow that up, at the time we'll come to that. If you go to page 103, which is the part of the national instruction, at the time, the 2017, it's the 2017 as amended, but the wording is the same. At paragraph 5, and we'll get to the timing. The last sentence there, which I would think it's still applicable, is that access control to the safes must be strictly applied.
Sorry, sir, what page is that?
103. It's paragraph 20.5, subparagraph 5. 20 deals with management of subs 13 stores. We will deal with the debate around subs 13 as it was dealt with yesterday. But do you understand that access control to the safe must be strictly applied?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Correct. Okay, we'll come to that. Let's then go back.
Again, it's just to try and clarify, Colonel, not so much to probe. The Port Shepstone office, who is in charge of that office?
I was the acting unit commander.
Okay. All right, so being unit commander, acting unit commander means you are the overall in charge of the office.
Correct.
Now, when you have this situation where drugs have been left in your building, but now the key is with someone else who's based in Durban. Yes, he's your superior, but he's not based in your office. Who at that point has custody and oversight responsibility in respect of these drugs that are in your building?
I handed the keys over to Brigadier Newswa. So him as the provincial commander. They've got control over those exhibits, not myself.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to it.
There's indication, I think, in your statement that at some point when high-value exhibits were stored there, an arrangement was made for 24-hour security, I think in the form of guards, warm bodies. Am I correct?
That is correct, Commissioner. That happened in June 2018. We stored a lot.
So 2 years, exactly 2 years before the cocaine was brought.
That's correct.
Yes. Whose responsibility was it to arrange that 24-hour security?
I did that at that stage, Commissioner.
Why was that so? Were those Port Shepstone exhibits? I want to understand why you made the arrangement.
It was a Port Shepstone case. It was our own case.
Yes.
It was a drug lab that we took down, 2 million Mandrax tablets. We guarded it there itself for 2 days until it was taken to FSL in Pretoria.
And in this instance now, 2 years later, June 2020, was it? Oh, so it was actually 3 years before. So June 2021, whose responsibility do you think it was to again arrange 24, sorry for splitting the infinitive there, to again arrange 24-hour security? Whose responsibility would it have been?
I would say the provincial commander's his responsibility.
Brigadier Nyuswa.
Brigadier Nyuswa.
And the reason for that? Why not you?
I don't have enough manpower at my office, Commissioner, for the members to.
But in 2018, you had managed to arrange that.
Because then we knew it was for 1 or 2 days maximum. We could do that. Yeah, there was no indication for what length of period that drugs were going to be there.
Thank you.
Perhaps the other dimension to what the chair is saying is the decision-making power. What changed?
It is not a Port Shepstone case, that. It's a Durban case. It's a much bigger, they've got a lot more people than I've got at my unit. It's their exhibits they brought to my unit. They should have supplied the guards for it there at my unit. Commissioner.
Thank you. Please go to your statement, paragraph 26.
Each of those 2 safes was built in line with the applicable SANBS standards. Each had 2 locks. Warde van der Berg had the keys. Just to be clear, I was not in control of the safes. One of the safes, room 22, was used to store firearms. The safe had a firearm register and the occurrence book. The other safe, room 24, was used to store office supplies, including cleaning material and solutions. Access to it was also registered. There were no cameras inside the building. However, there was an alarm system which I think there's a typing error there. Which monitored motion. No, that's correct. When it was armed, it would be triggered by motion, but only in the passages. None of the officers had any, I forgot the word now of that. The sensors. None of them had a sensor in it. All staff had their own unique code to activate and disarm the alarm. The alarm would not work if there was no electricity, even if it had been armed. Once there is no electricity, it gets disarmed and not work. Further, even if it got triggered and made a noise, no one would know, as the office would be closed and the nearby businesses would also be closed. Basically, the alarm would just ring until someone comes in the following working day. If it went off on Saturday, for example, and assuming there was no interruption of electricity supply, it would be deactivated or disarmed by the first person at the office on Monday morning. If there was interruption of the electricity supply on a Saturday, for example, the alarm would be disarmed and the office would be totally exposed. Obviously, this was a serious risk of exposure. Previously, the alarm system was linked to Armed Response Security Company. The contracted Armed Response Security Company was National Security and Fire. The monthly cost for armed response was R593.56. I attached a copy of that contract, marked JJP3.
I must say, I just do not understand why a contract for only R593.56 could not have been maintained. I'm not directing that to you. I guess I'm directing it to the entire system. There's so much wasted of government funds and funds used for corruption and all sorts of things. But with that in mind, you find a contract of this negligible amount, bearing in mind government resources not being maintained. It just boggles the mind. Please continue.
Thank you, sir. Are we going to that annexure? Can we go on?
No, I think it's fine. Put it on record. Continue to paragraph 29.
The contract expired in March 2020. It was important that the office had armed response because no one was at the office after hours and weekends, including public holidays. This office was particularly vulnerable and had been broken into a number of times. I can count no less than 6 incidents. These were as follows.
I think it's 8.
Sorry.
Count 6.
No, sorry, it's 8 incidents.
Okay.
My mistake.
Can I just interrupt you there and just bring it to the attention of the commissioners, the exhibit CJC 200?
CJC what?
200.
200.
It's an A4 page, this one. Apologies, it was provided after the fact. These are instances of the break-ins and what was taken. Please go through it for the commission.
Can I deal with that same one?
Yes.
Commissioners, the first one is there. The date is 27 of December 2011. They broke into that little storeroom that's in on the side of the building in the driveway. They broke in there. They stole our vacuum cleaner. Then, on that instance, they broke through the roof there. It's got an asbestos roof. They came through the roof. At that stage, there was no electric fence at the back there. Then in 2014, the 8th of June, they broke into the garage. It had a small, not a very expensive garage door there, which they just forced open. One of our state vehicles that was parked in there, they forced the bonnet open and they stole the battery. Then in 2018, the 8th of December, they broke in on one of the side windows. They accessed a few of the offices there, but it was mostly storerooms that they accessed there. And they completely destroyed our alarm at that stage. So it had to be replaced. Then on 2020, they broke. I think that instance, it was the 20th of January. I think they broke through the window of Warden of Pinar into his office.
Is that the same Pinar warrant officer?
BJ Pinar, same.
That same office?
Same office.
Can you then, in your statement, compare that to your paragraph 29.4, perhaps to give it more flesh? And the reporting of that incident.
Okay. All these incidents were reported to the provincial commander. This incident was reported to our provincial commander, counterintelligence, Lieutenant Colonel S.R. Singh, also came to the office and did an inspection. He wrote a factual report to the provincial office with the recommendations. It was also brought, to the attention of the district commander and visible policing. We were then requested to do frequent patrols, and members of the office were also asked to do after-hours visits.
Just on that, who was the district commander at the time?
General Namangele.
Namangela.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has since also gone on pension.
Thank you. Do you know if this incident was reported to Brigadier Newsom?
I cannot recall exactly when he started as a provincial commander, but it was reported to whoever the provincial commander was at that stage.
Okay, please proceed with your CJC 200.
On the 15th of March, they broke into the office of Warrant Officer Warren. If I can just go back to those other photos, then I can...
Yes, you may take us through.
I'm just not sure which page that would be. And showing those photos.
It's the photo album. It starts at page 2, page 1 of the annexes. So
if we look at page 1, at the bottom now, the first windows you see there, that's the sliding gate, the entry there. And you get the second windows, that middle one, the third window, that was Warrant Officer Horn's. Warrant Officer A.L.W. Horn, that was his office. So they accessed there just from the pavement. They broke the window, forced the burglar bars open, and they were in. No alarm could go off because there's no sensors in the offices.
And when do these incidents normally happen? During the day? Or?
It's normally on weekends. At night.
Okay, please proceed.
Is this the incident where they took 3 laptops?
That's correct, Your Worship. Commissioner, then we look at the next incident there was the 15th of January, 2021. They broke into the office of Captain Leroux. Now, if we go back to that photo 1, the window just on the right of Warrant Officer Horn's windows, they broke in there. Exactly the same modus operandi, broke a window, forced open the burglar bars. Then, Commissioner, we go to the next one. It's the 11th of October, 2021. Just want to, if we go to page 4, photo 4 of that same album. Those 2 wooden doors with the windows on either side of them, they broke that window on the right-hand side. They smashed that window. There's 2 windows there. They smashed the left one of the 2 windows with a brick, and they tried to force open the burglar bars, but they failed.
Just so that we're clear, so on photo 4, there's the big door that we can see and the small door with where you had said you had put the exhibit. It seems to have some stairs. Those 2, if you come down from those stairs, which is it, the first window or the second window that you're talking about?
It's the window closest to the door. That leads to a small kitchen there in that passage.
I'm saying if you go down the stairs, I just want to locate it so that we understand. Is it the one before you reach the door, or is the one after the door?
One before you reach the door.
Thank you.
Commissioner, and then the last break-in was the 8th of November 2021. That's when the exhibits were stolen there from the office.
Can I just try to understand, Lieutenant Colonel? When the 11 October 2021 break-in happens, you know that you've got a consignment of cocaine in this building, because the earlier break-ins, you had nothing substantial in there. But the 11 October 2021 break-in happens, you are responsible for the building because you are the boss there. The consignment does not belong to you. You say it's a Durban case, it's not your case. What steps did you take to say to these people, I can't keep your stuff here because it's clearly not safe? There has been an attempt to break in. I don't know if the people who tried to break in wanted to steal this cocaine. There's something valuable here, and I no longer believe that it's safe to keep it here. So before we get to issues of lawful instructions from superiors, you are responsible for this building, and there's an attempted break-in, and you know that you have exhibits that are worth at least 200 million. What steps do you take to increase the security or to say, I can't keep this thing here, it's not safe in my office?
Commissioners, I reported to Brigadier Newswa. He asked me for progress report, for factual report on the breaking. Everything was provided to them at the provincial office. We had instructions from General Sonona not to inform other members about what we housed in there, that the drugs was there. So we were given instructions by him that the members must visit the office. So with that instruction, and I'm not allowed to tell the members what is in there, I just asked him to, after hours, to make a turn at the office, just make sure everything is safe there.
But you didn't say either we increase security or you take your consignment because it's not safe in my office. You did not do that.
I did not do that, Commissioner.
The factual report that you prepared, what does it do? Is it just an account that we've had a break-in? It doesn't include recommendations from you about what to do?
If I'm correct, that report, it's got in it there exactly what security I've got at my office and what I don't have. It is in that report.
Okay.
Commissioner Baloyi, perhaps just to, if you turn to page 40, this is the factual report of January 2021.
Okay. If you were still going to discuss it, I'm happy to leave it. If you were planning to come to it.
No. I think it's just one incident. I just want so that you see how it would look like. He can just take us through it so that, because all the factual reports after each incident would follow the same format.
I see.
Perhaps as an example, could you take us through this factual report and how it would look like?
Okay, it's a factual report. It's dated 18th of January 2021. It says factual report, attempted business break-in, DPCI Port Shepstone. Then the case number is 165 of 2021. It says on Friday, the 15th of January, the officers of Serious Organized Crime Unit situated number 2, Princess Elizabeth Drive, Port Shepstone, was locked and in order. The office was visited on Saturday, the 16th, and Sunday, the 17th, by various members of this unit. On Monday, the 18th, Foreman Tuccini noticed that both windows of the kitchen were broken, but the burglar bars prevented them to enter. On further investigation, By myself, it was evident that they used a large rock to try and force open the burglar bar. There was also signs that they tried to force open the back passage door that is situated next to the kitchen windows. The office was previously broken into on the following dates: 2011-12-27, 2014-06-08, 2018-12-09, 2020-01-20. This office is fitted with an alarm that was monitored by National Security and Fire. During April 2020, we requested to be on a month-to-month contract with National Security as we were awaiting the procurement process. During May 2020, an application was done to upgrade the alarm system. This office was told to get 3 new security companies to tender for the upgrading and the monitoring of the alarm system. The 3 companies who tendered were Uyabonwa, Fidelity ADT, and Laser 911. During December 2020, this office received a statement from National Security informing us that due to non-payment, they have removed us from their system and would not be rendering any services at our unit due to non-payment. Currently, the alarm is activated after hours and on weekends, but if the office is broken into, there is no way for any of us to be notified about it. We will only see it when we arrive at the office. Further progress will be reported.
And is that your signature at the bottom there?
That's correct.
And just to be clear, was this, who's this report directed to?
It was sent directly to the Provincial Commander, Brigadier Newsma.
Okay. And after this time, Major General Sinona would have been in office?
I'm sorry, sir?
General Sinona would have been at office at this point?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe coming back to the factual report for the October incident, did you receive a response from Brigadier, I think it is, Brigadier Nyuso, after the October incident?
I did not get any response from him.
Not even a discussion with
No.
you? Okay, thank you.
Perhaps we'll come to discuss the 8th November 2021 in more detail in your statement. But just to understand, would factual reports that you prepare, were they all written?
Were they?
All written
Yes,
as documents?
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
And you would address them to whoever is the provincial commander?
that's correct.
Okay. Thank you. Please proceed. Paragraph 13. It's about applications for the alarm or armed response, as it were.
As I have stated above, in March 2020, the armed response contract expired. During April 2020, I made an application for the continuation of the contract with National Security and Fire on a month-to-month basis while still engaging a formal procurement process. The application was addressed to Supply Chain Management and Colonel Madu. This request was sent to the provincial office. Attached a copy of the application as marked JJP4. However, the procurement was not approved.
Sorry, Colonel, could you then go to page 22?
Sorry. Colonel, you referred to a request for a month-to-month extension, and then you also referred to a procurement process, and then you end the paragraph by saying, however, the procurement was not approved. By that, are you referring both to the month-to-month extension and then the procurement, which I assume was to be for a longer term?
That is correct, Commissioner.
So
Both of them
the refusal was in respect of both.
That's correct.
And what reasons were given for that?
We were given no reasons.
I guess I may ask the question in respect of the other refusals, because your statement refers to, I think, no less than 3 other refusals. In respect of the others, were reasons given?
No reasons given, Commissioner.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. At page 22 of the annexures, that's the application for 2020, for 22 April 2020.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Is that the application that you made?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Who else was it addressed to, or other than Colonel Mado?
It was also sent to Captain van die Kerk at our provincial office. She deals with the SCM.
Then to address what Chair is inquiring, if you turn over the page at page 23, at paragraph 8, could you read that to the record?
What's the page number there?
23, just the next page.
An application is hereby made for the current contract with National Security and Fire to be continued on a month-to-month basis while the procurement process is being done.
And as you said to Chair, there was no response to this.
Nothing.
Okay. Continue to paragraph 31.
Another application was made on the 26th of May 2020. It was also not reacted to, let alone be approved. On the 17th of August 2020, I made another application to the Provincial Commander, Brigitte Mabandla and Supply Chain Management, Colonel Madu, that application could not be processed because Colonel Madu, dealing with the application, left procurement, so I later learned. On the 8th of September 2020, Chief Admin Clerk Olivier of my office addressed an email to Captain van die Kerk of the Provincial Office, providing responses to information that was sought, including setting out the type of security system we required. I attached here to a copy of the said email, marked JJP5. It is to be noted that Mrs. Olivier warned that if there was a break-in at the office, it would be problematic as there was no security service in place.
Can we then turn to that annexure?
Maybe I misheard you, Colonel. I thought you said Miss Olivier, the Chief Administration Clerk, in your office.
She is in my office, Commissioner.
But I see here in your statement it says from Provincial Office.
That's a typing mistake, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Please turn to page 26. Is that the email that you are referring to?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay. If you turn over at page 27, the third paragraph, could you read that to the record?
On 22 April 2020, application was made for the contract with National Security and Fire to be...
Sorry, the following paragraph.
The next...
start from 22 April is fine.
Application was made for the contract with National Security and Fire to be continued on a month-to-month basis, as at the time we were still in credit with them, and for the request was made for the duration of the process of obtaining quotes from new suppliers. To date, no feedback has been received on that application. The security system that is currently in place is working. However, should there be a break-in at the office, it will be a problem, as there is no security contract in place. procurement process for new security contract was done. Other service provided quotes for a 12-month contract for alarm and security services. 3 private security suppliers were requested to quote for security services to include the following: installation of CCTV system, monitoring equipment, infrared passive sensors, armed response, digital recorder, and remote, inclusive of remote network, monitor via cell phone, external perimeter features, beam sensors on the outside of the office windows. An application was made on 29 May 2020 for security service and monitoring at the office for a period of 12 months, but to date it has not been approved. The quotes received from suppliers have now been expired.
I'm not sure I understand the first sentence of the paragraph that states the security system that, let me read the whole thing, the security system that is currently in place is working. However, should there be a break-in at the office, it will be a problem as there is no security contract in place. My understanding is, as at that point, there was no armed response, and also the alarm system would go off whenever there was load shedding, and there would be no backup, so it was good as not there. I want to understand the sentence that says the security system that is currently in place is working. Does that mean the alarm system just making noise here and that's it, and if there's nobody to hear it, it's as good as not being there? Weekends, as you said, nobody would hear it. It would go on and on until the following Monday.
That is correct.
Do you think this captures the situation accurately to then say it's working?
You can just arm it, but that's all. It's not connected to anybody.
It just makes noise, that's
it.
All. If you are not there overnight and during weekends, it's useless, completely useless.
That is correct, Commissioner.
All right. Let's adjourn and resume at 11:25.
Majosi. All right, it's 25 past. We are ready to resume. Cell phones off, please. Thank you.
Colonel, we sometimes start even a minute before the time we stated, just for the future.
My apologies,
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Chairperson. Colonel, we were dealing with the applications and the warning that Ms. Oliver had provided or had given. Now, we would then continue from paragraph 34 just to contextualize and then move onwards from your statement.
Which paragraph?
34, page 11.
34. Another letter of application was made on the 22nd of September 2020. This time it was signed by the Provincial Commander, Brigadier Nuswa, and was forwarded to Provincial Supply Chain Management Office. The application was also not approved.
Did you hear anything from Brigadier Nuswa in response to or in reaction to the application?
No.
Thank you. Please proceed.
We owed money to National Security and Fire on the 25th of November 2020. They sent a statement of account for an amount of 3,306.49 cents in respect of monthly services. I made a SAP 585 application, which application was sent to the provincial office for financial approval. I attach here to a copy of the email sent, attaching the application marked JJP6.
Can you please just briefly describe an SAP 585 application?
It's an order form for that money to be approved and to be paid, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Can you just turn to page 31? And of the annexes bundle. What does that email relate to?
That was for the approval of that money, for the money that we owed National Fire and Rescue.
Okay, please proceed on your statement starting on 14 December 2020.
Which paragraph is that, sir?
Paragraph 35.
Okay, on 14 December 2020, National Security and Fire sent a further statement reflecting an amount of 3,610 as outstanding. They then advised that they would remove us, the DPCI office, from their system and will not render any further services due to non-payment. This was confirmed to me on the 13th of January 2021. Between November and late December 2020, there were ongoing discussions about our application for security. I attach here to a copy of the email exchange in this regard, marked JJP7. On the 13th of January 2021,
Sorry, apologies, just so that we contextualize. Your JJP7 appears from page 33 of the bundle and of the annexes.
Without us going through all the emails, can you just summarize what the substance or salient features of the communication were?
That was just communication between Chief Admin Clerk Olivier from my office and Captain from Niekerk from the provincial office regarding these outstanding monies and what response we got from the security company.
Can I take your attention to the following page, page 34? The email in the middle from Captain van Niekerk.
She sent this to Lieutenant Colonel Majosi. Your response regarding this matter will be appreciated. This matter is long outstanding and was dealt with by the former provincial commander for acquisition management, Colonel Madu. This delay is causing a major security to this office, which has been previously targeted by criminals and who have broken into the offices and stolen state property. The procurement file was handed by Captain Diedrichs for processing. To date, this unit has had no feedback. Your intervention is required.
If you look at the persons copied, can you just state their names?
She CC'd myself, then also Olivier from my office, as well as the provincial commander, Brigadier Newswa.
Okay, thank you. I think that completes the point. Go back to your statement at paragraph 36.
Sorry, Colonel, what they are saying there on page 34, because you're not dealing with the person's response, the day after Lieutenant Colonel Majosi responds, top of the page there, and without context, she seems to be suggesting that the request is going to the wrong people. It should be addressed to the right people. So they are not outright refusing the request. It seems to be suggesting there that you are sending it to the wrong people. Do you see the 16 December email?
I see that. I see
And
that.
they say,
Commissioner.
we will appreciate if you could explain how Colonel Madu involved in this matter, as it seems like the contract was secured by a head office. So the suggestion is that you must deal with head office and not the people you are addressing your request to.
Commissioner,
What follows is there is no request to head office. You seem to be asking them the same issue again. What is the status of the security application? We are now 29 December on page 33. So it seems to be a communication problem rather than a refusal to approve the request. Do you see that?
Commissioner, I see that.
Yes.
We dealt with Colonel Madu. Then we were told suddenly he's no more there. So this Colonel Majosi, he was then the one that we dealt with. Captain van Niekerk, she dealt with.
But Colonel Majosi says it was secured by the head office, so that's where it should go. That's at least my understanding, and I don't have context. I'm simply reading the email as I see it. So it could be that the request was addressed to the wrong people, and it's not an issue of head office or senior people outright refusing to provide the necessary support. Thank you. I think you accepted that, so we can leave it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where was Officer Majosi based?
SCM in Durban, the provincial office.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Thank you. Turn back to your statement. Paragraph 36.
On 13 January 2021, CIC Olivier specially wrote an email to Brigadier Nuswa and Captain van Niekerk requesting an approval for the security contract. In that mail, she set out a full background to the addressees. She warned in the event that something should happen, this office has no security in place and there have been numerous break-ins at the office. I also attach here to a copy of the said email marked JJP 8.
Please turn to page 38 of the annexes. Are you there?
You want me to read it?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Just summary and who it was addressed to and the time.
It was sent on the 13th of January, 2021, 20 past 3 in the afternoon. It was sent to Brigadier Nuswa, Captain van Niekerk, and I was CC'd in that.
And in terms of summary, it was the same request for the alarm.
That whole history of everything, how it transpired.
Thank you. Turn to your statement, paragraph 37.
On the night of 14 January 2021, another break-in happened, which was only discovered on the 15th of January. A rock was used to break the window of the kitchen. However, the criminals were prevented by the burglar bars from entering. On the very day, I wrote a factual report to Brigadier Nuswa and informed him that the office alarm was not linked to security company, as National Security and Fire had removed us from their system. I warned that while the alarm is activated after hours and on weekends, if the office is broken into, there's no way for us to be notified about it. We will only see it when we arrive at the office. Attached here to a copy of that factual report, JJP 9. I think we've gone through that one, sir.
We've gone through that report, Chairperson. We don't need to go through it. It's the one at page 42, Brigadier Nuswa. Please then continue.
Our request for security and armed response was again sent to supply chain management and even sent to Brigadier Nuswa. In fact, it had turned into a plea for help. It was very important that the DPCI office had a working alarm system linked to a security company. However, our requests were ignored. I am still unable to understand why the applications were not responded to and approved. This is particularly perplexing since we were experiencing repeated break-ins which were reported per incident and also when we did applications. The Provincial Command was aware of the numerous break-ins and the vulnerability of the Port Shepstone DPCI offices. On 22 June 2021, a large quantity of drug exhibits were received to be stored at the office. At the time, there was still no security service. Nothing had changed. Security was neither upgraded nor enhanced. I found this particularly strange. The Nuswa knew of the security challenges, and I could not understand his decision or how he would allow the drugs to be stored at the office. There was then an attempted break-in late October 2021, which I reported to him. Again, there was no attempt to improve the previous application or even enhance security given there were now exhibits of high volume. The DPCI office was totally unsuitable to store exhibits received. There was no adequate security in place. In fact, there was a decision taken in 2017 not to store exhibits at all of the 5 DPCI units in KZN. Brigadier Nuswa was and is well aware of that decision. Major General Sonona would have also known this. None of the DPCI officers were...
Why do you say Brigadier Nuswa was aware of the decision? Was it a written instruction?
It was a written instruction.
Coming from where?
from General Zikali at that stage.
Who was he at that stage, Sikali?
He was the provincial head
Okay,
of KZN.
all right.
Why I would say, Commissioner,
Yes.
they were aware of that. Every quarter we are conducting, or inspections are conducted at each of these 5 serious organized crime offices. They would normally take a senior officer from one of the other units, one of the other 4 units, say they're going to inspect Port Shepstone. They would take from one of the other 4 units officers, normally about 5 or 6, make an inspection team. They would come and inspect my unit. And that was one of the points that they inspected, to make sure that no exhibits were stored at the units. Vice versa, if we had to go and inspect other units, we would look for the same thing. Ultimately, that report, after the inspection, is submitted to Brigadier Nuswa to show all the weaknesses and problems at the units. While I'm on that, at each of these provincial inspections conducted at my unit, it was one of the shortcomings that I made the senior officer that conducted the inspection aware of, was the security issues at my unit. So it was well documented.
I assume you know the Durban office. This was not your operation or even your cocaine. It's the Durban office cocaine. Is there any reason that you are aware of that this could not have been stored in Durban? And I'm talking more about space.
Commissioner, you're talking about the Durban DPCI office. Commissioner, as far as I know, I don't think they've got a strong room. They occupy 3 floors, and it's just drywalling between the offices. So as far as I know, there's no strong room there.
Thank you.
None of the DPCI officers were at the time actually allowed to keep exhibits. This is the reason the DPCI office did not have a SAP13 register. The DPCI office was particularly vulnerable and was not suitable to store exhibits, let alone of the quantity we were asked to store. Both Brigadier Nuswa and General Sonona knew this.
Colonel, just to refer you, General Flynn testified yesterday to say that in order to have a sub-13 register, your office would have needed, according to the national instruction, the approval from the national head office. Is that correct?
We did add it before when we were still receiving exhibits before 2017, when that instruction came from General Zikali.
And what if that decision was taken? What does it signify if they remove the sub-13 register or the capability of your office?
I think it was a security issue because of the lack of security at our facilities.
Okay, thank you. And in the absence of security, obviously what the national instruction requires is that exhibits must be seized in order, they must be stored to be used for evidence and all of this.
That is correct.
So if they are not secure, obviously there are difficulties other than being stolen.
That's correct.
They would be unable to be utilized properly in court.
That's correct.
All right. Before we We then have to go to section E of the statements. Just wanted to check if the commissioners have any questions before we move on to the new section.
No, please proceed.
Thank you. We then go to your section E, starting from paragraph 44.
On the 22nd of June 2021, between 10 and 11 in the morning, I received a telephone call from Brigadier Nyuswa. He informed me that the provincial tracing team seized a large quantity of cocaine from a container, and he instructed me to make storage available at our office. He said he would take both sets of the safe keys with him once the exhibits were stored in the safe. He said the exhibits could not be stored at the forensic science laboratory as they did not have a secure storage capacity. I knew that the laboratory had been flooded and was dysfunctional.
Can I just ask, just
Yes, sir.
taking back or going back to what Commissioner Baloyi had asked, were you asked for any opinion or view about storing the exhibits at your offices?
No, Commissioner, it was an instruction from him for me to keep it there in my office.
And did you raise an issue with it and
I
about
did.
safety and security?
I did not raise it. He knows all my challenges there at my office.
Unlawful. Would the instruction not have been unlawful in light of what you said that since 2017 it was no longer permitted to store exhibits in the 5 offices? Now you are being directed or given an instruction to do the very thing that you know is no longer permitted. So why do you allow it? Because in your engagement with Chair right at the beginning, you conceded that you are only obliged to obey lawful instructions. Isn't this instruction an unlawful one?
Commissioner, I don't see it as an unlawful instruction because the General Sinona gave the instruction to Brigadier Nyuswa that it must be stored at my office.
And what became of the 2017 directive that no exhibits should be stored at offices? Are you saying General Sinona could overrule that directive and decide that, notwithstanding that directive, exhibits can be stored at the office?
Commissioner, he could have gotten permission from the National Head to do it. I don't know.
But you were not aware that he did?
No, I was not aware.
Can I just understand the Zikali? Did he occupy the position that later is occupied by General Sinona?
That
is
is
it the
correct.
same position?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, but it may be clarified at a later point, Major General Sinona also, I think, said he was informed by Brigadier Nyuswa about storing, but I suppose that will come on. So your evidence is that it is Major General Sinona that gave Brigadier Nyuswa an instruction. Am I understanding you correctly?
I do not think Brigadier Nyuswa would have made that call on his own. I'm sure he would have sought guidance from General Sinona.
So what I'm trying to understand is whether you knew for certain or you are thinking that was a possibility.
Yeah, that was a possibility.
Maybe putting it differently, you assumed that Brigadier Nyuswa has spoken to General Sinona about this.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please proceed. Paragraph 45.
During that call, Brigadier Nyuswa did not discuss other alternatives. He made no mention of any other storage. I know there were Durban Police Station, Maiden Wharf or Isipingo stations, which operates 24 hours. These would have been more secure. The newspaper never mentioned anything about taking the exhibits to Isipingo or booking them at the Isipingo Police Station. Brigadier Newswa was obviously aware of the storage capacity of the safe. Equally, he was aware of the vulnerabilities of the DPCI office and the fact that there was no active security. He would have been aware of the security applications I referred to above, the latest one in January 2021. Would have also been aware of the factual reports I gave to him and also the number of burglaries which had been at the office. It was not my place to second guess Brigadier Newswa's decision and commands put directly. I could not question his decision or second guess him or his commands. I have to respect and follow them, which I did. Soon after that call from Brigadier Newswa, photos of the seized exhibits started circulating in the various WhatsApp groups. I attached here 2 copies of the photos, which were circulated marked JJP 9.
Is that DPCI WhatsApp groups
No, police WhatsApp
or
groups.
police in general?
Can you just correct our JJP9?
Yes.
Our JJP9 is the factual report and not the photos.
Yes, we'll correct that. We'll correct. I think those photos appear at your page 116.
So we should amend the statement to read JJP12.
Correct, Chair, we'll correct that.
That is correct, Commissioner.
So it's JJ, so we'll amend the statement accordingly. So it's page 116 and page 117.
Yes. It was just those two photos.
And
the other photos did not come from me.
Yes, yes. But I'm saying those 2 photos.
Yes.
And could you then you go on to describe them below? But what I want to understand, were you aware where these were, where they were taken?
No.
So it seems it's in a parking lot somewhere.
That's correct. That's correct, Commissioner.
You had no idea where that was?
No.
Okay. Please proceed with your statement.
I noticed the photos that the exhibits were unpacked on the floor and not sealed. The exhibits were in the form of blocks, wrapped in yellow cover labeled Jaguar and black cover labeled TikTok. They were also not in sealed bag. It appeared that the exhibits were being handled contrary to the national instruction as amended and the protocol on the search and seizure, handling, processing and disposition of illicit drugs. I attached copies of the national instruction and the protocol marked JJP 10 and JJP 11 respectively.
Thank you.
Colonel, these pictures that are circulating on WhatsApp groups, were they accompanied by any messages at all? to say anything about them.
It was said it was drugs seized in Durban. Only later on during the day it became more clear where it came from.
In the same WhatsApp groups.
Same WhatsApp group.
They were explaining further on
Yes,
where it came
yes.
from.
Were they subs, WhatsApp groups, or just general public?
Subs WhatsApp groups.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Commissioners, I think earlier on I did indicate that I wouldn't necessarily go to the national instructions. General Flynn did go out at great lengths to the requirements of the sealing of the exhibits and all of this. So I will just keep that. Continue to your paragraph 48.
During the course of that same day, around 1300 hours, I contacted Warrant Officer A.B. van der Berg and instructed him to clear the one walk-in safe, room 22, and make it available for the exhibits. I told him that I was instructed by Brigadier Nuswa that it would be used to store a large quantity of cocaine, which had been seized. Normally, we use that specific safe to store official firearms and ammunition. The firearms and ammunition was moved to the other safe, room 24. As I said above, Warrant Officer van der Berg was in control of the safe and keys were with him. If I'm not mistaken, this was around 1300 hours. I do not recall a further call from Brigadier Nuswa or anyone regarding the matter until they arrived later in the afternoon after 1600 hours. This was after hours of our normal working time. At that stage at the office, it was only myself and Warrant Officer van der Berg. The other members had left already.
Sorry, just before we go on, so you had a call with Brigadier Nuswa at around 10, 11. Let's give it 11. And the distance from Isipingo is around, it's 110 kilometers, which would be around, at best, if we are really going slowly, 2 hours. But we see a gap of 5 to 6 hours. Did you question, perhaps when they arrived, what was the gap about?
I did not question him, no.
And did you wonder what may have happened in those 5 to 6 hours?
I presume they would have been busy on the scene, processing the exhibits, probably at forensics there, taking fingerprints, all that type of thing.
All right. Please continue to paragraph 50.
Still on the day, at 4:15, the members arrived at the office. Several vehicles, they arrived at the same time as Major General Sonona and Brigadier Nuswa. They were traveling in one vehicle. I cannot recall whose vehicle they were using between the two of them. Other members arrived in 3 combis and a BMW sedan, which was driven by Lieutenant Colonel Dina Govender. The tracing team is a team composed of TRT members and DPCI members. It was formed to deal with cash in transit and it reports to Brigadier Nuswa. The team was not ordinarily involved with drug operations. Members of the team included Lieutenant Colonel Dina Govender, who was their commander. Warrant Officer van der Berg and I opened the security gates in the passage there and wooden doors, which were secured by a padlock leading to the driveway close to the walk-in safe, room 22. The members arrived, reversed their vehicle up the driveway. They all alighted from their respective vehicles.
Please pause there. I just want us, the position of Lieutenant Colonel is the sort of a senior position in terms of rank.
Yeah, that's correct, Commissioner.
Then if we go to the photos, again, I'd like us to go to photo 3 and 4.
What page is that, sir?
It's page 3 and 4 of the annexes. So obviously, are you there?
Yes, sir.
There's the gate. So essentially, you're saying there are 4 cars or 5 cars? 3 combis?
5.
5 cars. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they all parked by the gate.
Some were already parked here in front of the gate. Others were in front of our building.
And where was General Sinona and Brigadier News?
They parked outside and they were interacting with these members
By this gate or by the parking area?
near the parking area.
Okay. And then the combis reversed to this gate.
Once we've opened this gate, they reversed in up the driveway, close to that wall there.
If you turn over to photo 4, page
Yeah.
4.
Yes,
Yes, you're there.
yes.
Okay. You then opened for them between the two of you.
We opened that wooden door there
Okay.
with the metal security gates on the inside.
Okay. So the 3 combis reversed.
They reversed in.
Okay. And the car from the General Sinona's car
Stayed outside.
stayed outside. And
Lieutenant Colonel Dina Govender drove in, so he was parked in front of these combis.
okay. Inside or outside the gate?
Inside.
Inside.
Of the driveway, yeah.
Okay. Obviously, we'll come to it. But when the exhibits were being offloaded, was the gate closed?
No, it was
Wasn't
open.
closed.
It was open.
All right. Then let's go back to your statement at page 16, paragraph 52.
To that, we heard from General Flynn the mentioning the involvement of Jacob. I forgot what his title is. Was he one of the people that attended or that arrived at your offices as part of this party?
Commissioner, Colonel Jacobs, he's the commander of serious organized crime in Durban.
Okay.
He was not part of
He
the
was
members.
not one of the people that he was not one
No,
of the
he
people
never,
that arrived.
he never came there.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Commissioner. I don't think he was the commander at that stage. He's the commander now. I think at that stage he would have been the group leader for the SANEP section, for the drug section at Durban. I think he was in charge of the drug members.
That might be how he described him, yes. But he wasn't one of the people that arrived.
No, he never arrived on that day, no.
Thank you.
Just to follow up to that, I think you would have dealt with it later on, but at this point, just to contextualize things, who was there at the offices? From your office, you said it was Warrant Officer van der Berg and yourself. Who else was there other than Major General Sinona and Brigadier Nyuswa and Dina Govender? Who else was present?
It was Warren Pangase and then the other members from the tracing team. I don't know all of them. I don't.
So the people you knew was Warrant Officer Pangase?
Yeah.
Okay.
He introduced himself to me then also as the investigating officer of this matter.
Had you known him before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please then proceed to your paragraph 52.
Major General Sinona and Brigadier Nyuswa were together and interacted with the TRT and DPCI members as they arrived. They did not initially give any instructions to us until after the exhibits were put into the safe. I went to Major General Sinona and Brigadier Nyuswa, greeted them. Warden Pangase identified himself to me as the investigating officer of this matter. I briefed them as to which one of the safes we will be used to store the stuff, the exhibits in. Major General Sinona then called Dina Govender and told him to go and buy coffee for the two of them. I then told Warrant Officer Pangase that the safe is available. We have cleaned it out and that we can take the exhibits to the safe. I must point out that no one, not even Brigitte Mabandla or Warrant Officer Pangase, told me the exhibits had been at Isipingo. They also did not discuss that they had looked for any other alternatives. I went with Warrant Officer Pangase.
Is there any significance in your mention of the fact that you were not told that the exhibits had been in Isipingo?
Commissioner, I only saw on those WhatsApp groups where these exhibits came from. I was not told by any one of them where it was seized and where it came from.
What I'm asking is, you specifically say they did not tell you, that is the two seniors, that the exhibits had been in Isipingo. So my question is there any significance in you mentioning that?
It's just the fact that they didn't tell me that.
All right, thank you.
Just to follow up, which is what I was asking about Colonel Dina Govender. Where was this coffee shop around the premises? Because you had not identified it. How far was it?
It's just around the corner. If I go to this, let me just see if I can. No, it can't be seen there.
Sorry?
It's just around the corner. It's 250 meters from the office.
Okay. And with the 5 members, how many persons were there when you were doing the offloading?
There was quite a lot of them.
Quite a lot.
Easily about 20 of them.
20, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right, thanks. Please proceed.
Earlier you spelled Dina as D-I-N-A, I think twice. Now you say D-E-E-N-A. What's the correct spelling?
D-I-N-A. I apologize for that, Commissioner.
Well, this one at 53 should be corrected then. All right, thank you.
Colonel, going back to the chairperson's question about they didn't inform you that these drugs had been to Isipingo first. They didn't inform you of that. Had they told you that these were first booked at Isipingo, or if you had known at that time, administratively, what would have happened? What would you have done as a receiver? What would you require? What are the processes that would have had to be complied with for you to receive these drugs that you are now told were in Isipingo? Is there anything at all?
We would have just used that SAP 30 number in our occurrence book entry.
Okay.
If they had booked it in there and they did supply it to us, we would have included it in our occurrence book entry.
Okay. Thank you. And would that have included you confirming physically that what was taken from Isipingo, what had been booked in and booked out from Isipingo, is exactly what is being given to you? Would you have had to physically check that, or it would be sufficient that they just gave you the SAP 13 so that you enter it in your book?
If they had a copy of the register, it would have assisted, so we could have known how many bricks was entered there.
And would you have checked them physically, is what I'm asking?
I wouldn't have necessarily checked them because they took the keys.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's leave it for now.
Colonel, why was this not a red flag to you that they did not tell you that there's a police station of origin where the exhibits are originally booked and a case is opened with a case number? If they were just bringing to you consignment of cocaine, 554 kilograms, without knowing the station of origin, then surely that should have raised issues with you, because they could have been trafficking cocaine illegally. I mean, if it was seized somewhere, it had to be booked in a police station. and there should have been an SAP 13. And if it was coming to you only for storage, then in your own occurrence book, you should have recorded that it has been booked at a police station, either in Sipingo or WAF or wherever. It is only coming to my offices, because yours is office and not a police station, for storage because you have a safe there. And then you keep a proper record of what has been brought to your offices. I mean, the fact that you were given an instruction to just store drugs, but you don't know where they came from, that is a problem, isn't it?
Commissioner, I agree with you. The first red flags that I saw was that these exhibits were not brought in evidence bags. They were not sealed. It was brought in the same black carrier bags that they found it in wherever the container was that they found it in. It was all put out nicely to take photos on the ground, and then it arrived back in my office, still in those same bags, not sealed in evidence bags, like it should have been done. It should have been processed by the proper people for DNA, for touch DNA, for fingerprints, all that. These arrived by me just back in those same bags that were seized in. That was completely wrong.
So being aware of those irregularities, and you've mentioned at least 5 of them, you still obey the instruction.
That's correct.
But then it was an unlawful instruction.
I won't say it was unlawful, but the fact that there was a lot of red flags. And the 2 senior, this general and the brigadier, was happy with it.
So you, as long as your general and brigadier were happy, you were also comfortable?
I was not comfortable, but I cannot point that out to them.
But if you say they are bringing drugs to you in packages, they are not sealed, the drugs were not properly booked at a police station, there's no proper documentation or record, and it comes to you for storage. What if they had stolen drugs from a larger consignment that was properly booked, and you were being made part of drug trafficking by your superiors? Were you not concerned that it could be that?
I didn't at that stage think of it that way. It was just that everything they did concerning that consignment was wrong. The way it was handled and the way they packaged and everything was wrong.
Yeah. But it's wrong because it doesn't comply with prescripts, and that's what makes it unlawful. It's not wrong because my brother and I think it's wrong. We are not policemen, but you are a policeman and you know how exhibits should be handled. And if it was not handled properly and you are being instructed to store it in your office simply because you have a safe, then that is unlawful.
I don't think it was unlawful, Commissioner. It was just supplying them with a storage space.
Let's take it at the level of red flags, which you accept were there. Earlier, in response to a question by Commissioner Baloyi, you said that it is open to you to question your superiors about something that you think is improper. Why did you not question them here? Regard being held to the fact that you accept that there were red flags here.
Commissioner, in the police, it's not that easy to question your superiors. For me to have questioned the general and the brigadier, there would have been serious consequences for me.
Then under what circumstances would you question? Because you accepted when Commissioner Baloyi asked you that in some instances you may question. So under what circumstances would you question then? Because what you just said seems to go against what you said earlier in response to that question by my co-commissioner.
Commissioner, certain smaller things you can question them about. Something as serious as this. Tell them they were at that scene where the stuff was seized. They obviously inspected it there and still arrived with the members there. Still, they didn't give them guidance there on the scene on how to do this, how to package the drugs, how to transport it. To take him on and to take him on there in front of the people, there would have been serious consequences for me.
Colonel, there's a difference in being defiant, defying an instruction, and asking questions or raising concerns, maybe raising concerns. And the suggestion is not that you should have been defiant. The suggestion, or what is being put to you, is you are confronted with this situation which clearly breaks every rule that you know about of handling exhibits, including the security implications of keeping these drugs here. Granted, at that time you didn't know that these were going to be there for months. You didn't know that on that day one. But you are keeping this huge consignment where you don't have security at all. It's difficult to understand that you did not raise that at the time without being defiant about it, but raise the concern. And still be told, no, we will keep it here. You know, we hear your concern, but we'll keep it here. But you don't at all. And you rely on historical correspondence that, well, they know from, the last correspondence that we don't have security, when in the moment where you're being asked to store a huge amount of cocaine with huge value, you don't say at that point, maybe we should go, should you not be thinking about another police station? Or give me security tomorrow or tonight. I would like to have more people who are going to be watching this. That you did not do that is difficult to understand.
I accept what you say, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs.
Can I just follow on what the commissioners are asking, perhaps? So, at least at this stage, and I take it because you are receiving some instructions, we've established that, at least as of 2017, your office no longer has the authority or the can't store exhibits. So there's no SAPS 13 register. Essentially, what that would mean legally is that your offices are wholly unsuitable. Would you accept that? And that you and Brigadier Nyuswa and General Sinona would be aware of that?
You mean in 2017?
In 2021. This is now in...
That's correct.
Right.
Commissioner.
And Warrant Officer Mpangase would be aware of it?
That's correct.
And you are now seeing that the bags or the exhibits are not sealed properly as they should according to the national instruction.
That's correct.
And at least yourself, Major General Sinona, and Brigadier Nyuswa would know that.
That is correct.
That it would be contrary to the prescripts.
That's correct.
Now, in terms of seniority, Major General Sinona and Brigadier Nyuswa were the ones giving you instructions, and you saying you had to obey those instructions and commands.
That's correct, Commissioner.
With hindsight, would you say that, and I'm not saying then, I'm saying with hindsight, would you say that they gave you an unlawful instruction?
Seeing all the shortcomings that could have been so, yes, Commissioner.
No, I'm saying we've canvassed the requirements of what is to be done, and all the three of you at the very least are aware. I'm saying with hindsight, would you say that they gave you an unlawful instruction?
I would agree with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Ask still on this theme. Is there anything in the whether DPCI or the broader SEPs that regulates and would enable a person to escalate matters? So, for example, you have these drugs that come to you in June. It's now, say, July. You still don't have security, and they're sitting there, and you are raising the matter of security continuously. You have this break-in in October. You raise the matter again with Nuswa, and nothing with Brigadier Nuswa, and nothing happens. Is there no mechanism where you can escalate it directly, or copying, say, General Sinona, but ultimately then General Libya? There's no such mechanism.
Commissioner, there would have been big consequences for me if I had done that. There's strict instructions that my line of reporting to Brigadier Nuswa, from him to General Sinona, from Sinona to the national head. If I spoke directly to the national head, there would have been big problems.
So you say there's a strict instruction of that reporting or how to handle matters.
That is correct, Commissioner.
And in terms of that, if as in this case, Brigadier Nuswa does nothing about it, that's the end of it for you. As with the security thing, there's nothing more you can do about it.
Commissioner, the national head was also well aware of the security challenges at my office. As I explained with the provincial inspections that we have every quarter, we have once a year, we have inspection from the national team. Where the national head sends people, it's normally a brigadier and some full colonels that visit these units and inspect everything, dockets, registers, everything. And they also interview the commanders, and I have raised it with them. And those reports from those national inspections goes directly to the national head. So the national head was well aware of my challenges there in Port Shepstone. If I would have jumped Brigadier Nuswa and General Sinona and communicated with the national head, even from the national head side, I would have been in big problems.
And you're saying the system or the prescripts work in such a way that even after the October break-in, where now we know you're sitting with this consignment of cocaine, are you saying even after the October break-in, having raised the alarm with Nuswa again and say Sinona, you're saying you could never reach out, you were not allowed, you precluded rather, reaching out to General Libya at that point because you're going outside of the prescripts? Is that what you're saying?
That is correct what I'm saying, Commissioner.
Right.
And these factual reports about each incident that happens at a DPCI office, that is escalated to the national head. So he would have received that factual report of the breaking, and he knew that those drugs have been stored by me.
Yes, that would have been my next question, because I didn't remember what the evidence was previously, that the national head knew that those drugs were being kept at your office.
I would presume that Brigadier Naika would have informed him. Brigadier Naika is the SANEP coordinator sitting here in Pretoria. He falls under the DPCI, under the national head. All drug seizures are directly reported to him. When General Musekile came down, the Thursday after the break-in, I was called into the Durban office. I'm still getting to that in my statement. Brigadier Naika was there as well. So it would have been, the national head would have been notified.
You assume, at this stage, you sitting there now, you assume the national head would have known that you were storing this. You are not saying it as a fact. You assume he would have known. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to follow up on what I consider is one of the most important aspects, at least for the commissioners, upon making recommendations. What are these big problems that you say you would have faced?
I would have been charged departmentally. I could have lost my job.
Okay, no, that's fine. So it's you would have been charged. It would have been a disciplinary issue.
That's correct.
And obviously, if it is found that it was an unlawful instruction, you would, let's say, assuming we've got an independent chairperson, you would have been absolved at the very least.
If it was an independent person, yeah. But if it was a member of the force, then I would have still had problems.
And ordinarily, who would be sitting in that hearing?
It would have been senior officers from KZN, from our provincial office.
And your view is that you would not have, I think, received a fair hearing, so to speak.
Definitely.
Okay.
Or just expressing a historical fact. I was a civil servant in the early 80s, and they were very strict with what they called channels of communication. You could never write a letter to someone above the person to whom you report directly, and it was actually a disciplinary offense to do that. I'm surprised to hear that that's still the case at this day and age.
Commissioner, that is still so. That is still up to today. It is still like it.
Thank you. I think then let's go back to your statement.
We are at 55 now.
You started paragraph 55.
I went with Warden Officer Pangase to the cars carrying the exhibits, left Major General Sonona and Brigadier Mabandla by their vehicle.
And just to remind ourselves, they were not inside that driveway. They were parked in front of the offices.
Yeah, they were standing there in the driveway, not inside where we were. But they were at that stage, they would have had their coffee.
Okay.
I think they were standing and drinking their coffee at that stage.
So, Colonel Dina Govender would have been back.
Yes.
He would have been part of the group that would be, as we would go to, offloading the exhibits.
That's correct.
And did Brigadier Nyuso and Major General Sinona observe or supervise the offloading, or they were just informally having a chat amongst themselves?
They were just having a chat there, having their coffee.
Thank you. Please proceed.
I went with Warden Officer Pangase to the cars carrying the exhibits. Left Major General Sonona and Nuswa there by their vehicle. I immediately noticed that the bricks of cocaine were not sealed in evidence bags. They were as they were in the photos which were circulating, to which I referred above. This was contrary to the national instruction and the protocol of exhibit handling. which makes it mandatory that the exhibits are sealed in tamper-proof bags and are clearly marked. We then formed a human chain to bring the exhibits from the vehicles into the walk-in safe.
Just to understand. Now, just following up from my previous question, in all of this, Brigadier Nyuswa and Major General Sinona, they are seeing this activity.
Yes.
And they can see you and others forming a human chain.
That's correct.
Who is issuing instructions?
Warrant Officer Pangase and myself.
You were also issuing instructions.
Yes.
What instructions did you give?
That we form a chain.
Oh, it was your idea.
Pass the
Okay.
exhibits on.
Okay. And in terms of handling the exhibits, would that have been appropriate? With hindsight, of course.
If it was properly done at the scene, which I don't know. I don't know, did they have LCRC there that took fingerprints, that dusted for DNA, for fingerprints and all that? It wouldn't have been a problem. But if that was not done and they were still going to do it, then yes, it would have been a problem.
Okay.
So when you were handling these breaks or these packets, your hands were not covered. You were just putting on further fingerprints and DNA onto these packets.
We had gloves on.
You had gloves.
We had the latex gloves on.
Everybody else had gloves
Yes,
on. Okay.
yes.
Please proceed to paragraph 56.
We put the exhibits in the storage. Major General Snowden and Brigadier Nyuswa observed this. They had no objection. In any event, I assume that they had discussed this with their team. As a provincial commander of DPCI, provincial head, they had the ultimate responsibility and authority to issue commands. Neither myself nor anyone in the office were in control anymore. Warrant Officer Pangase was in charge and under the direct authority of Brigadier Nyuswa. My role and those of members from my office was to follow the instruction given by Warrant Officer Pangase and Brigadier Nyuswa. Another strange thing is that they did not require the booking or registration of the exhibits at the office. We did not have a SAP 13 register since its decision had been taken in 2017. The office would not store exhibits. Brigadier Nyuswa was well aware of this, and I presume Major General Sinona would be aware. The exhibits were not recorded in any form of book. We were also not given a copy of the original SAP 13 register. Essentially, there was no booking of registration of the exhibits as required by the national instruction. Put differently, the exhibits were not recorded in any register. This was a big risk as the exhibits may have or could have been potentially stolen by any person handling them. The exhibits were also not counted. Again, neither Warrant Officer Pangase nor Major General Sinona or Brigadier Nyuswa even remotely suggested that the exhibits be counted or registered somehow. Once all the exhibits were placed in the safe, and I was told that there were 541 kilograms of cocaine. I could not verify this as there was no counting, and I did not have the keys to the safe thereafter. In terms of the national instruction, even if the office could receive the exhibits, it's required that all exhibits must be physically checked and marked, received correctly or not, in the column next to the item described, paragraph 11.5 of the instruction. Note set out the information which must be provided. The information includes station name, receiving station, telephone number, CP30 number, CARES number, first cell number, the rank, the name and initial, and the signature of the official receiving the exhibits. Obviously, the aforesaid contemplates the storing of the exhibits in a police station, not an office building, which make matters worse. But even then, there should have been some form of recordal. Yet no documentation, let alone formal, was done setting out the above.
I think Commissioner Kumalo, if I'm not mistaken, had asked why would you not have insisted on some form of recording of the exhibits? For example, they could have said there are 541, and then a week later they say, no, there's 300 kg. Why did you not, with that risk, insist on at the very least some form of record?
Because the fact, Commissioner, that I was just storing it. They, after placing it in there, they requested the keys and they left with the keys.
And at this time, I think we had gone through it earlier on, in where you then gave the keys away. There was also no documentation handing over the keys to them.
No. He requested the keys after the exhibits was placed in there, and I gave him the keys.
Please continue to paragraph 61.
Maybe before you do that, Colonel, the answer that you give that they took the key, they told you it's 541, and you accept it at face value. So you didn't do your own count as these things were coming in, even quietly. You didn't ask to do a count for your own preservation. You know that you don't want. I would assume that you would have been careful not to be caught in a situation where they said 541, and as Mr. Skakani says, that a day later, Mbangase comes back and says, now there's only 540. There was 541, we told you yesterday. You didn't have that protection for yourself, and I don't understand why you wouldn't have done that. I mean, I do have sympathy and maybe some understanding for what the superiors have said, but there's things in this whole scheme that just don't make sense from a selfish point of view of, I need to know. These things, they tell me 20, how do I know it's 20 in fact? And just try explain how you thought about it, how you were processing. You were obviously suspicious of it. That's why you're talking about another strange thing is they didn't require the booking or registration of exhibits. You have made the observation of an anomaly that you saw, that these things, they were circulating somewhere, pictures, and by the time they come to you, they're in bags, they're not sealed. So on that day, at that time, you already had your own discomforts and suspicions about what was going on, or discomforts, let me say, about what was going on. And yet you don't do the simple thing of satisfying yourself that when they say 541, it's 541, because they're left in your building for which you are responsible. Can you just explain that kind of behavior?
Commissioner, I hear what you say. The fact is that if we had a SAP-13 there, and it was going to be stored in my office, and it's going to be under my control, I'm going to have the safe keys. And that makes all the difference. Because I've got no say over those drugs. I don't have the keys to that safe. That's why I didn't, and the way it came in there, not in evidence bags and stuff, that's why I didn't want anything to do with it.
So that's the view. Is that the view that you took because of all these strange things that you're seeing happening? You took the view you want nothing to do with it, and let them do. This is their thing. Let them do it.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay. Thank you.
Go to your paragraph 61.
Once all the exhibits was placed in the safe, Major General Sinona and Brigadier Nuswa came closer. I then locked the strong room, both the keys, and handed the 2 sets of keys to Brigadier Nuswa. Neither Warrant Officer Pangase nor Brigadier Nuswa or Major General Sinona requested a briefing on the security of the office. They did not ask for or do an inspection. I paused to mention that at least Brigadier Nuswa was well aware of the state of security, the vulnerability of the office, and the previous break-ins.
So, sorry, Colonel, I just want to check with the photos. So they go to the driveway. Did they at least walk throughout the offices to check for other exit areas? That is at least Warrant Officer Mpangase? Or they ended up at the human chain level?
They ended up there, and they all exited back that way as well when they left.
So they would not have gone to the front desk to check and the access from the main door?
Not on that day.
Yes, I'm talking about that day.
Yeah, not on that day, no.
So they offloaded
And they left
locked.
the same route again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brigadier Nuswa, was he familiar with that space inside and the outsides and your neighbors? How basically the geography of that place inside and outside?
He was very, very aware of it.
He was familiar with
Yes,
it
he was.
because he's been there.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
and he was the commander
Yes,
many years back. He knows exactly the ins and outs of that office.
thank you.
Thank you. Turn over to your paragraph 62.
It did puzzle me as to how the office would be considered to be safe to store the exhibit. It was simply not safe, let alone for such high value exhibits. As I stated above, the office was closed after normal working hours and on weekends. Further, at the time, the area was experiencing heavy load shedding twice a day. I assumed he made his decision to store the exhibits at the office, having taken all these facts into account. I could not second guess my commander's decision, especially together with Major General Sinona. Major General Sinona requested that we regularly visit the premises after hours and that we must not tell any other members about the exhibits stored at our offices.
So the regular visits were supposed to be by you and Warrant Officer van den Berg only? Or do I understand not telling anybody else wrongly? Because when they say don't tell anybody else, I understood that to mean so only you and Warrant Officer van den Berg should know about this.
That was the predicament I was in, Commissioner.
Yes. So
Getting this,
yes.
getting this instruction from him. We must visit, the members must visit the office regularly after hours. And in the same breath, he's telling me, do not tell any of the other members, except Warrant Officer van den Berg,
Yes.
that know, the two of us that know.
So it's on that basis then that I ask, did you understand that request/instruction to refer only to the two of you? The regular visits?
It was a difficult one. What I did then was just on morning lecture, regularly request the members, if they go past the office, because of the previous break-ins, just pop in and make sure everything is still.
So you made the request to everybody, but without divulging that now there were new facts, the presence of the cocaine.
That's correct, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
But where were the other members as the cocaine bricks were being delivered and you formed a chain to put them in the safe? Surely they would have seen that because it happened during the day.
On that specific day, I excused all of them a bit earlier.
So how many of the people who are regularly at the office saw the cocaine come in and being stored?
It was only the two of us, Warrant Officer van der Berg and myself.
Okay.
Just the two of us.
Did you not find this request or instruction particularly strange?
Yes, it did. It was very strange. I've got to secure it and visit it after hours, but I'm not allowed to tell the members that we're keeping these exhibits there.
Thank you. Please proceed. Second sentence of paragraph 63.
It was simply 63 over here.
Second sentence.
They then all left with the keys being in the possession of Brigadier Nuswa, who left in the same vehicle as Major General Sonona. Neither Brigadier Nuswa, nor Warrant Officer Pangase, nor Major General Sonona gave instructions about how the exhibits should be secured and monitored, other than Major General Sonona's request to now and then pass by the office after hours and weekends. This was not a formal instruction or part of any formal plan. The request itself was difficult to implement, as I was told not to inform other officers. The lack of a proper plan and security was rather strange, considering that before we had stored exhibits in June 2018, and there was a strict plan about securing them. Present at the office at the time...
Sorry, before you move on to that point, when Major General Senona came in earlier and he had said this was an instruction that he gave to you. So I want us to be clear, was this a formal instruction or a request?
The way that was given to me, I'm not allowed to tell the members about it, but they must regularly visit. You can't do that.
No, I'm saying that members must regularly visit. Was that a formal instruction or a request? I think we are going to have a debate about that.
I would say a request.
Thank you.
We've also heard from other evidence that, in fact, in law enforcement, a request is an instruction. It may be formulated as a request, but you know and understand that it is, in fact, an instruction. What do you say to that?
Commissioner, it's very close to each other, the request and the instruction, yeah.
So if General Senona were to say that was an instruction, I may have put it as a request, but in fact, I expect police officers, the two police officers, to understand that in the police, that's an instruction. Would you fault him for saying that? If he says, I did give an instruction.
No, I won't fault you for that. Myself and Warrant Officer van der Berg, it was good for us because we knew about it and we went the extra mile to visit the office. But I couldn't expect that from the other members. So I couldn't give them those instructions. They would have thought, what's going on here?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. On the back of that answer, you are the in charge. This is your house, Port Shepstone office. And you know that there's valuable exhibits in there. And you are left with it. I understand you don't have access to it because the key, it's locked and somebody else is responsible for the key and therefore they're responsible for the access into that space. But it's in the perimeter. It's on your property. Why would it be wrong to say to you, you are the head, you know what's in there, you should have instructed your members, in fact, without telling them, without having to disclose, you should have given instructions to your members and firm instructions to rotate so that there's always visibility as much as possible to your premises from your members And why would they not follow that kind of instruction from you?
Commissioner, firstly, manpower. We just weren't enough members.
Could you not request assistance from Newswa